Hello everyone, I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for the weekend of August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. On today's show, we look back at our community thrift store and its second anniversary party, where everyone was popping some tags. But first, we want to remind you that Friday mornings at Shell Point are Marketplace mornings. Every Friday, starting at 8:30 a.m., a variety of vendors take over the island's administration courtyard and sell everything from bakery items to fresh flowers to handmade items. Many people get their weekly supply of produce from C&J Produce, who bring different specials to the table every week, all year long. Come to the Shell Point Marketplace every Friday from 8:30 to 11:30 in the administration courtyard and find something amazing. Many shoppers found amazing things last week as the community thrift store celebrated its second anniversary. Balloons were everywhere as shoppers received special discounts as well as free popcorn and sodas. It was also a chance to thank the hard-working volunteers that keep the thrift store going. Here's a behind-the-scenes look at the Pop Some Tags thrift store event. There's no better time to explore all the fabulous deals available at the community thrift store. They have everything for your friends and family, from furniture to clothes, books to toys, jewelry to antiques, and every knickknack imaginable. The community thrift store is located on McGregor Boulevard next to Planet Fitness and is open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. If you have any questions, call the thrift store at 225-6529. Now, before we replay all this week's best stories, let's cover your weekend happenings, followed by your menus and church news.
Welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Suzanne Zavada, and I'm here with Bev Chanley to go over everything happening this weekend at Shell Point. We'll start off on Friday at 8:15 when the Stamp Ministry will be meeting in the Stamp Room on the island. From 8:30 to 11:30, the marketplace will be in the administration courtyard on the island. At 9 o'clock, the round robin men's doubles tennis group will be out at the Woodlands tennis courts. At 10 o'clock, we have canasta in the game room of the Woodlands. And at 10:15, we have inquiring minds meeting in the Osprey room on the island. As we move into the afternoon, we have mixed progressive bridge at 12:30 in the game room of the Woodlands. At 1 o'clock, the diabetes group appointment will be meeting in the manatee room on the island. At 1:15, table tennis will be in the tarpon room on the island. And also at 1:15, we'll have the quilters in the Osprey room on the island. At 1:30, the Vespers will be in the community room of the Arbor. At 2 o'clock, euchre is played in the Sable room at the Woodlands. And at 2:45, the Vespers will be meeting in the community room of King's Crown. Our last Friday activity is 6:45 game night in the Resident Activity Center on the island. Now here's Bev for Saturday.
We're going to start out Saturday morning at 8 o'clock with the round robin men's doubles tennis being played down at the Woodlands tennis courts. 9:45, duplicate bridge will be in the manatee room on the island. Then we move on to the Model Yacht Sailing Club, sailing their boats at the Woodland Commons Lake. That'll be at 10:15. And then the afternoon brings us 1 o'clock chess game in the library lounge of the Resident Activity Center. Also, 1:15, we have a table tennis game going on, and that will be available all weekend, unless otherwise noted. That'll be in the tarpon room. At 3:15, basic line dancing will be held in the health club. And then Saturday night, our last activity is at 6:30, where duplicate bridge will be in the manatee room on the island. Here's Suzanne for your Sunday lineup.
Sunday at 9 o'clock, we have the Christian Life Studies group meeting in the game room at the Woodlands, and also meeting at 9:15 in the Village Church on the island. At 10:15, morning worship will take place in the Village Church, and it will also be broadcast live on Shell Point TV Channel 12. At 2 o'clock, the Mixed Golf League will be out at the Shell Point Golf Club, and at 6:15, we have the evening service in the Village Church on the island. Have a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to seeing you back here on Monday.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is seafood Newburgh with white rice and broccoli. The dinner special is the seafood buffet for $14.95, and the soup of the day is Manhattan clam chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, there's a fish sandwich with coleslaw and chips for $6.95. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are lamb chops for $20.95 or flounder for $14.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, there's a French dip with fries for $6.95. The dinner special is chicken pesto spaghetti with green beans for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Saturday are prime rib for $18.95 or veal marengo for $13.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, there's a grilled ham and cheese panini with chips for $6.95. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $7.95. And the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
I'm Randy Woods, and I'm here today with Glenda Stephenson. We're looking forward to another weekend. Glenda, can you believe it's the first weekend of August?
I cannot believe it, Randy. I'm not sure where it's all gone, but being the first Sunday, it means it will be Communion Sunday for us.
That's right. It's always a wonderful time of fellowship as we share together and worship at the church, but the first Sunday of the month, as a church family, we gather around the table, and it is a special communion service each time we gather.
It is.
Yeah. As we continue this week, I understand Pastor Andy's continuing his message on the study of the book of Ephesians.
He is. He will still be in Ephesians 5 this week, and his title is Married to Christ. Mm-hmm. In this book, Paul uses the analogy of human marriage to describe our relationship with Christ and Christ's relationship with the church.
And as you know, we're blessed to have so many in our congregation and the community who share in the services. Mm-hmm. And this week, I'm looking forward to hearing Elva Matthews, who will be playing the organ, and Nani Lett playing piano. And then Sunday night as we gather, I understand we'll continue the study of Noah? We
are. And his title for this sermon is kind of intriguing. It's called Noah's Zoo.
Well, I wanted to share as well, many folks are aware with all that we do at the church, with the concerts and special programs, the significant contribution that Rhett Jarrett makes. And we're going to see a little different side of Rhett and his wife Liz are going to be sharing in music Sunday night. And looking forward to hearing them as they share Sunday night in worship, some solos and congregational singing. So it should be a special time again this week.
Yeah, the two of them together will actually be leading the worship time, and they've done that a few times for us, and it's always memorable. We really appreciate it.
So we invite you to come out Sunday morning at 10:15, Sunday night at 6:15. If you're not able to get out to attend the services, you can always see the morning service live on ShellPoint TV Channel 12 as we worship together. It's going to be another wonderful weekend. I trust that you'll join us as we worship together at the Village Church.
It's time for our ShellPoint TV Week in Review, and we began this week with a brand new Suzy Q, which now offers boat trips on our Southwest Florida waterways 5 times a week. We said hello to the Suzy Q's new captain, Jim Walker.
I'm Mary Franklin from Resort Services, and I am here today to introduce to you Captain Jim Walker, who will be captaining our very own Suzy Q5. We're glad to have him on board. Welcome to ShellPoint.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
So Jim, tell us a little bit about yourself. Before, where were you born? Tell us all the good information.
So I was born in New Orleans, and we moved to Pensacola, Florida when I was about 10 years old, and grew up there on the Gulf Coast. Been around the water most of my life, and was fortunate enough to have that experience, and it's led to a boating passion for me, and I'm very pleased and have the opportunity to work with you guys here on the Suzy Q now.
Yeah. Before us, you had some very interesting opportunities of moving boats from one position to another. You had a great trip starting in California.
Yes, I was a radar engineer for 20 years, and in between contracts that we had in California, I had purchased a sailboat there and had the opportunity to sail it back over to Pensacola, which was quite an adventure, and I'm glad that I did it at that time, because the world has changed a lot, and things might not be so easy to go through the canal these days.
Right.
And that led to my ability to teach the offshore sailing school over at South Sea Plantation. And so I've been fortunate in having the chance to live here in Southwest Florida for the past 20 years and to enjoy the water lifestyle.
And you've been giving tours and doing boat tours in the area for the last several years. Where's your favorite place to go? Do you have a favorite?
Well, one of the more favorite places is to go up towards the upper islands where there's no bridges, like North Captiva and Boca Grande and places like that. We're fortunate that we do have a lot of unspoiled waterway and habitat here in Southwest Florida, and it's a wonderful place to live and to work.
And Captain Jim, I know that you're a nature lover and you love being able to share your knowledge and have people be able to see the dolphins and the wildlife that's out there on the water. You can't wait to share that with our residents. Is that correct?
That's correct. I enjoy seeing the dolphins, and I am a sort of amateur naturalist, although we have some good narrators here at the Suzy Q that are prepared to give a good account of the birds and the wildlife that we encounter. But the dolphins are always a special treat, and I enjoy seeing those. And fortunately, we have a lot of those in this area, and once they get to know the Suzy Q boat and the signature of its engines and the depth sounder and everything, then they will feel more comfortable about coming alongside and sharing their activities with us. We're all looking forward to that.
Well, Captain Jim, we're looking forward to getting out on the water with you. We are so glad that you're a part of the ShellPoint family, and you and the volunteers will be giving a great opportunity for all residents to get out on the water. If you want to join Captain Jim on a trip, you can do so by signing up at the volunteer greeter desk in the Resident Activity Center for one of the several trips we'll have planned throughout every week. I'm Mary Franklin with Captain Jim Walker. Make it a great day.
Thank you.
We now have a note about assisted living. How do you know when it's time to move? Here are 10 easy questions that can help you.
Hi everybody, it's Jared Pike here with Shell Point TV, and today we're talking about assisted living. And with me is Shell Point's assisted living specialist, Mackenzie Millis. How are you, Mackenzie?
I'm good, Jared.
And assisted living is a big topic at Shell Point because we have 3 assisted living facilities. But talk about the decision to move into assisted living. Who is it led by?
It's definitely individual. It's a matter of when is it right for you. We never want to see an assisted living decision made in the midst of a crisis. We really want residents to be proactive in making that move to improve their quality of life.
So it's a good thing, but when do you move? And it's a personal decision for everybody.
It is. One of the things that we've done is we really have tried to educate residents to understand what is assisted living and then give themselves some questions to ask to help them determine when should I be thinking about it? And is that decision maybe in the near future, or do I have some time and it's not something I need to worry about today?
Well, I happen to have those questions right here. There are 10 questions, and we want people to ask themselves these questions. We'll just go through them one at a time. Number 1, do you have a fear of falling and worry there will be no one there to help? Now, this is a concern?
It is. It's definitely a concern. One of the nice things about independent living is residents have that emergency pull cord. So they can pull in the case of emergency, whether it's a fall or any kind of health crisis. But a lot of the concerns come into, if I was to fall and I can't reach that, how long am I going to be on the floor for? How am I going to know that? What is the response time going to be in terms of an emergency? And in assisted living, it's a much smaller and precise response time because we have staff in the building 24 hours a day to help.
And they're always checking up. That's wonderful. Number 2, do you forget to take your medications? Now, medications are a big deal for people.
They are. And the second question I always ask is not only do you forget to take your medications, but do you know what each one of your medications is for? With the healthcare system today, it's very important for residents to be proactive in caring for their health. And part of that is knowing what you are taking and when you're taking it and why. And if you're finding yourself slipping a little bit, there's great news. Assisted living and the nurses in our assisted living facilities can help with that, whether it's pill box or nurse administration of medications.
That's great. That's great. Number 3, do you struggle getting ready in the morning? This is a big one.
It is. And it's kind of a 2-part. It's energy management. How much time are you spending with kind of the chores of the day, that grind of getting ready? Are you finding the activities calendar on a daily basis? You're choosing the activities that start a little bit later in the day because you just can't make it to that 9 o'clock fitness class or that 10 a.m. educational program. In assisted living, we've got staff that can help you.
Number 4, do you feel lonely or depressed? So the emotional factor plays in.
The emotional factor definitely plays in, and it's also related to that if you're struggling a little bit, you're probably not getting out and about as easily as you used to. In assisted living, we have a full-time activities leader that plans enough programming that you can stay active in the assisted living building, but you still have the whole Shell Point community available to you.
It's impossible to be lonely in those assisted living facilities. Number 5, is your home less clean and tidy than it used to be? Interesting.
Yes, and are the dishes and the laundry becoming a burden? Those are things that we often find. With the housekeeping that's provided by Shell Point, you get a little bit of assistance, but the laundry and the dishes are the 2 that we often find as the areas that people struggle to keep up with. Or for couples, maybe one person used to be the primary provider of those services, and now because of health roles, the situation's changed and now someone else is being responsible. We take all of that burden away with assisted living services, and then we can add to it by also making your bed on a daily basis, which is
that would be wonderful. I would love to take advantage of that. Number 6, do you fear losing your balance in the shower? Now tell us about that.
You know, it's a scary thing, even if you haven't fallen. If you're unsteady on your feet, often getting out of bed in the middle of the night with no one there to help and getting in and out of the shower are the most difficult portions of the day. And often, if you have had a fear, that fear of refalling, or you know the statistics against falling and how dangerous they are for seniors, that it really, people find themselves not showering as frequently as they used to. And that's a shame, because it's such an important thing of personal hygiene and dignity that we want residents to be able to get the care they need, even if it requires a little bit of more support than they have previously needed.
and assisted living can provide as much or as little support as a person needs.
Yes.
Number 7, have you been losing weight or experienced a decrease in appetite? Now, this is one people might not have thought about.
No, and often people don't think about it, and it's such an important thing. Not only is medications one of the main reasons we see people move into assisted living, but it's the dining. In assisted living, having 3 meals per day provided to you is a huge resource. Rita Southern, our director of assisted living, has always referred to it as the tea and toast. A lot of times, seniors, to make it easy for themselves, will take what they used to love as far as this wide variety of fruits and vegetables and meats, and they'll start sacrificing that for convenience and energy management, and all of a sudden they don't realize it, but they've been eating tea and toast for way too many meals in a row. And once they get to assisted living, they're able to have all of those options available to them.
And I've been in those assisted living facilities. There's food on every corner. You can't pass by without without a snack being there, which is great. Number 8, do you find it uncomfortable to drive, or are others concerned about your driving?
Yeah, and that's not to say that when you move into assisted living you give up your car by any means. So I don't want people to be confused by this one. But if you are finding yourself struggling a little bit, or you find that others are concerned about your driving, you might really find it beneficial to have things like meals taken care of, to have your doctor's appointments coordinated. And that takes away some of the necessity in driving, but then when you are driving, it can be for more leisure and recreational features. But the other side of it is Shell Point has an amazing transportation system. So I would encourage any resident to use that to their liking.
So you keep your independence, just all the hassles
take care of.
Get taken care of. I love it. Number 9, have you stopped attending many of the social activities you once loved? Now, you've seen this?
Yes, very much so. We often say isolation is the enemy of positive aging, and it is such a key thing to keeping us motivated, to keeping us happy, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And socialization can provide all of those things. And our activities leaders really help us to make sure that that's taken care of.
It's taking care of mind, body, and spirit, we'll call it. Number 10, have you had a recent hospitalization? Now, this is just a simple one.
Yeah, it really is a simple one. And what I always ask people to say is, okay, so you've had a recent hospitalization. Now, would that situation have been different if you had been living in assisted living? Would the response time have been quicker? Would it have been less stressful? And most importantly, is there any chance it could have been prevented? Often we'll find that people will end up in the hospital, not proper nutrition, not taking medications properly. And it's a real shame to see because it's something that might have been prevented. So that's always a really important one to look at.
So there's your 10 questions. And if you have these concerns, if these are coming up for you in your life, then it may be time to ask yourself, assisted living can provide all these needs. Now, the best way to learn about assisted living is to call your case manager. Now, we have 4 of them here at Shell Point, and you can see them listed here on page 23 of your Shell Point Life magazine. Now, if you don't know your case manager, you can always call Resident Support Services at 454-2299 to find out more. Take advantage of it, folks, because you can improve your life and your independence at the same time with assisted living. So for Shell Point TV, this is Jared Pike.
Brian Gainey offered us a quick tech tip about computer printers.
Hi, this is Brian Gainey, Technology Services Coordinator at Shell Point, with today's tech tip. Printers. We love them, we hate them. When they work, they're great. When they don't work, and you need that plane ticket, there's nothing more frustrating. One easy tip. You can always restart your computer, unplug the printer, hold down the power button on your printer for about 10 seconds. Plug it back in, turn your computer back on, and see if it works. If this doesn't work, you can always give me a call, 454-8248, or email me at briangainey@shellpoint.org.
The Shell Point Salon and Spa has top-notch barber services, as we saw when Dan went there for a haircut.
Hi, my name is Robin Church, and I'm in the salon here with Dan Filgreen, which I'm sure all of you know, and Linda. Linda is our barber in the Island Salon. She's here Monday through Thursday, and she's always available for walk-ins. But we're just going to show Dan here and how different sometimes a barber cut is. So Dan is our guinea pig. And just to take a look at the back of Dan's hair, this is considered blocked. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give Dan a nice barber taper, which is more gradual, and you don't get so much of this grow out line because it's shorter and it gradually comes up. So Linda's going to work some magic here, and she's going to taper up Dan's hair. Barbers do a lot of scissor over comb technique or clipper over comb. It just helps them to get a nice blended look. And since Dan is such a TV personality, we certainly have to keep Dan looking his best.
Yes, we do, don't we?
Dan has a nice little beard going over here. And a lot of times we'll get this a little bit thinner, and it's called a chin strap because it just wraps right around the chin line here. Very popular today. A lot of the younger men are wearing this. You're very hip, Dan. Now, Linda, how long have you been barbering?
Oh, over 10 years, over 10 years.
Wow. Linda has quite a following that has followed her here from a local barber shop, and it's nice to have a lot of extra visitors coming into Shell Point.
Clipper over comb.
Barbers use clippers, scissors, razors, all of the different implements depending on what kind of cut they're doing and what techniques they're using. Yeah, no white walls. Now, if anyone doesn't know what a white wall is when the hair is cut too far above the ear and there's a gap between the ear and the hair. And it's usually about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, and some people will do that to get a little more time out of their haircut because it takes longer for the hair to reach the ear. But during that time that there's that gap there, it looks kind of funny. So we don't recommend that. Now, as I'm seeing Dan's hair, I'm noticing that he would be an excellent candidate for our Bosley hair care products to help thicken up this hair, especially in the crown of his head.
Yeah, because you can see the
right.
You can see the hair follicles there. Yes.
Right. Bosley would probably help revive some of this because Dan does not have total hair loss. So some of these follicles, I'm sure, are clogged by the DHT hormone that we all produce. So I think by using some Bosley hair care to help cleanse that scalp a little better to remove those particles from clogging the follicle would really help. Very nice. Yes, Dan is one of our many loyal customers that we appreciate. That's a big key in the health of the scalp, is stimulating the blood flow to the scalp. So by brushing or massaging the scalp, it helps stimulate blood flow, which helps to keep it healthy.
A must-have for travelers, I think. And also it makes your scalp feel good.
Right. We also do electric shaving in the salon. So if you need some assistance with shaving your face, Linda does do some electric shaving. We don't do any wet shaves just because of the risk of it all. Now also when you come for a barber cut, we make sure and we get all those little hairs around the ear and all of those extra little eyebrow hairs, sometimes little extra nose hairs. All of that is part of the barber cut.
Literally cleaning up, okay, just a couple of stragglers.
But grooming those eyebrows is a big part of that whole finished look.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It just wouldn't look the same if you had a nice haircut and then had a couple of really long eyebrow hairs sticking out. I can always tell when my husband needs a haircut when his eyebrows get long. Oh, that looks much better.
Much better.
Yeah, the one is definitely.
Yeah, it gets those little stragglers that's hanging over you, you know. It's almost like yours, just a tiny bit shorter, but it takes off the stragglers. As you can kind of sort of see, it's just flying off, that's it.
It just makes everything look more
Just
groomed.
a little bit tidier, you know.
You are.
Okay. You like?
Sure.
Let's take it back.
So here we have our finishing touches with Mr. Dan Philgreen. He's looking quite spiffy with his new barber cut. And here in the back, you'll see this is a tapered up barber cut in the back instead of the block finish, which we showed you before Linda got started. So again, if any of you gentlemen are looking for a nice barber cut, Linda's here Monday through Thursday. And Linda also does a lot of ladies that like a nice blended short wash and go cut. Linda has done a lot of nice work for them too. So
Wash and wear.
Wash and wear, right, just to make it simple. Put a little styling aid on there and you're ready to go about your day. If you've seen this ad and you want to come in and see Linda, just mention that you've seen Dan's barber cut on TV and you'll receive 10% off of your service that day. So give us a call if you need any questions answered at 489-8400. Thank you.
Tim Brady and Joy Ellen Ryan have a unique inspiration garden where all the plants are in giant pots. Let's take a tour.
It's on my father's tombstone in the garden because that's where he spent all of his time. I was born and raised in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Oshkosh B'gosh. My first early memories is I did not like gardening because my job in his garden was to weed. And it was never acceptable unless you pulled the weed out by the root. He'd take his flowers to the Wisconsin State Fair and always get first place. And one year, out of thousands of flowers, he got the cluster. So that gardening and the flowers has passed on to me.
Since I was 12 years old, I was always interested in photography. I always had my own darkroom. After college and I became a metallurgist, I was in the steel industry in Portland, Oregon, and they would get me to come out and do the industrial photography. We were traveling the world independently, usually alone. We were both divorced, and we happened to meet at 35,000 feet over the South Atlantic.
I was going on a safari, and he was going on a garden tour coming from Portland, Oregon.
We spent a couple of 3 hours on that 15-hour flight or so to Cape Town, South Africa, which was where we were going. We toured 5 or 6 different countries in Africa on that trip, and we've made many, many trips since, and we've done most of the world.
That was 1997.
And we have been together ever since. We lived in a gated community, which were manufactured homes. We brought in huge boulders and that sort of thing to control the flooding that occurred during the excessive rain. And later on, I built a 35-foot long atrium And actually I grew orchids and bromeliads for several years. We started to develop a butterfly garden in our residence. And now we're real privileged to be across the street from a butterfly garden. And we had all the natural plants for the caterpillars and so on and so forth. And we've noticed since we came in here a couple of months ago that the butterflies are migrating now because we have lantana and a few of the same types of things as they have over there, and that the butterflies like. We brought the pots. The pots are a decent investment. We thought our concept was we didn't have to have bare soil here and have to be weeding it all the time. We could grow everything in a pot. And we will continue as the seasons change and grow tomatoes and whatnot.
This garden is an inspirational garden, and it's intended for the birds, the bees, the butterflies, the fairies, and the frogs. And it's for anyone to come to sit on that meditation bench or to sit here, and so that they can just come and enjoy it.
This is how you'll normally find it. That keeps the rabbits out. And you open it that simply. Anybody is welcome that wants to come into the garden.
Frogs are very important to the environment and to life. There's a pair of frogs there. Here's a very special frog, and he's got a happy face here, so it says joyous. Oh, there's a big frog right at your feet that has little treasures in it.
There's one over there by that pot.
Oh, yes.
And this big ceramic frog we've had for 14 years, and it's been out in the sun all that time. You know, look at how bright the colors are. I think the Mexicans know a little more about ceramics than I do anyway.
People wonder why I say frogs. If you spell frog, F-R-O-G, it's first rely on God.
You've got a mermaid right next to you there. There's a number of turtles around here and there. Shells that we've collected over the years, they become homes for bees.
But we want bees to pollinate the flowers.
This is a delicious spinach, and the back of the leaves is purple, and so it's colorful too.
My daughter, when she was in high school, they asked her for her philosophy of life. And she's a very smiley and pleasant person, but I have kept this all these years.
There's a bench on the seawall here that is ideal for sitting and fishing. It's a comfortable spot to sit, and this canal here is reasonably loaded with fish.
This is very important to me because my family was a family of readers, and we believe that you are who you are because of the people and your experiences and the books that you read. And so when I became a teacher, and then I went on to become an education consultant and a reading specialist, life and books are very significant to us.
We structured this thing and then put the plant hangers on the outside of it. And so it's a memory garden and a lot of things in one.
We created it together, but he's the one that maintains it, and he does all the heavy work.
It's a beautiful place. That's one of the attractions of Shell Point. It is also a very beautiful place.
In this little plot of land are many seeds, some planted by the hands of man. This space of vegetables, plants, and flowers encourages you to linger for a few minutes or an hour. Inclement weather creates the strife, while sunshiny days are the energy of life. Designed for birds, bees, butterflies, fairies, and frogs, to nourish them and to be enjoyed by you and all. So enter and rest a while, meditate and contemplate the many blessings and abundance on your plate. If you look closely, you will see signs of love, peace, joy, and harmony. Peace is intended to calm the soul. It invites your spirit to meditate as a goal. The sounds of silence create a symphony of color and light, each harmoniously resonating God's might. Bonding with nature in a personal way keeps encumbrances and worries at bay. With additional strength, please leave this place, showing your love and serenity with a smile on your face. If this inspirational garden has given you peace and accord, with many thanks, for that is indeed our reward.
Seamstress Debbie Brito visits Shell Point every Thursday afternoon. She has started a new line of clothing that looks great and it's easy to put on. Let's learn all about it.
I'm Mary Franklin from Resort Services, and I'm here today with Deborah Brito, our seamstress here at Shell Point. She's been here since the year 2009, and Deborah comes out every Thursday at 4 o'clock in the Osprey Room. And Deborah, you have helped many people over the last several years with taking in their clothes because they've lost some weight or changing the length of clothes that they have bought. And since you've been here, it sparked the idea to kind of veer off a little bit and start up your own business. And you have designed your own line of clothes for ladies. And what's so special about these clothes?
Well, one of the things I do most for the ladies is loosen the elastic because it's too binding for them. And if they, they get pants that fit the waist, they don't fit the body because they just don't make them, for the changing body. So what I've done is I've made some pants that will grow or shrink with the individual. They open up with Velcro. Okay, so, and then, us ladies, we bloat.
Yes.
And stuff, so that it's also easy to get on for those ladies who have a difficulty. I know many Thursdays I'm helping somebody to put on or take off their pants.
Right.
So this way they can get their feet in and out, and then they can adjust. They could make it bigger if they need to. And in doing so, I also made them their pocket, which is very, very important for many of the ladies. And another thing that I do with the ladies is I have to help them put their tops on, and help them mess up their hair and for them to lift up their arms. And it's very painful for some ladies. So what I've done is I've taken a basic tee, I've made it in a raglan style because a raglan is one of the most universal styles. We have many ladies with different problems, and it doesn't accentuate these problems.
And it doesn't wrinkle.
And no. I washed and dried these all last night just to test and make sure. So then what I did with this particular style is I have 2/3 to 1/3, and it opens up in the front with Velcro. So you can put it on like a jacket and then just close it up.
So it's very fashionable, but easy for those to put on and off. You don't have to slip it over your head anymore. You just slide in, putting on a jacket. So great if you have range of motion problems or arthritis problems. This is a very comfortable outfit for someone to be able to put on. And I want to clarify, you made this whole shirt. You didn't take a shirt and manipulate it. You made this whole shirt.
Yes, I did. And I have different necklines. This is kind of like a scoop neckline. We could do it in a V or V or square. So it comes up higher. Some ladies like it up higher. I have some with little scars they like to hide.
Square line's nice.
Yes, and we can do sleeveless or short sleeve or long sleeve. And then...
And this outfit's a little bit dressier?
Yes, it is. And this is, I made this especially for one of my models, and she's short, like most of my ladies. And what this is the skirt is made just like the pants. Okay, so we also have a pocket. And this has a vent in the back. So it's also very stylish without adding too much volume to the body, because that's another thing, we try to be conscious of how we look.
And I love this part.
Okay, this is our jacket, and this comes out. You see this Velcros to the shoulder and to the sides, and it comes totally out. And I have shoulder pads that can also go in, and then you would Velcro this to the shoulder pad. So you could just buy the front. and have many changes.
So you can make this outfit into a couple of different outfits,
Yes.
different looks for day and evening. And really smart, if you chose to get this in black, you can really have a couple of different outfits.
Yes, because I have some ladies, they like the, you know, the pullover top, so it's one look. And so then, and this is what made me think of it, because again, they struggle with trying to, you know, take it off and put it on. So this, you would Velcro the one side, and then you put it on, and you put it back together. So it's relatively easy.
And when you make these individual pieces for a special order, this is to their size. They don't say, I'm a size 10, I'm a size 12. You measure them, and these are made specifically for them.
Right, right. Because we have some ladies, of course, you know, the shorter ladies, they're petite, and now they're buying things that are petite and they're way too long. So we're trying to do all that at one time. So it doesn't have to be altered later.
Right.
Okay, so, you know, I have a 25-inch inseam, and I'm a petite, blah, 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 and we measure and we make it to that.
And when you walked in today, I loved your outfit. And amazingly so, this is one of your outfits. Very stylish, very flattering cut. And show us how this works.
So this has a seam. This just goes up the side like that. I left my finger. And so you just basically, you could do it one of two ways. You can do it this way, and I just do top and bottom and then run my finger down it. Or you could, if you feel better about it, do it in the front, put your arm in, you know, that way. So depending what movement you have and you're capable of doing.
And you paired that with a pair of pants that you made all together. And again, it's cut just like the pants and the Velcro on the side, but you still have your pockets.
Still have my pockets, most important.
Yes, you've got to have a place to put your cell phone and your keys and so forth. Another attention to detail that you have taken is the Velcro. You have special ordered Velcro. Most of the time you only see Velcro in white or black.
Right.
You have made the Velcro the color.
Yes, because I think it's important. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it quite in the mocha, but like the gray, the gray is gray.
Okay.
So, you know, if I want to expand it a little bit, I can without it looking like it's not jumping out at you because it's white or black.
That is wonderful. I think this is a wonderful line of clothes that can make ladies feel very comfortable, but in daily coming out, and then also just getting it on and off.
Right.
They would really appreciate it.
Yes, and it's very soft. It's knit. I have an assortment of prints and colors for the pants because I can make any length pant. You know, capris, long pants, shorts, and I have several different styles skirts as well. And we'll be going into nightwear and undergarments in the future, and hopefully by next year we'll have men's clothing also.
Well, this is a wonderful line of clothing that you have designed. I love that it's specific to the lady. It's not a generic size. And we were talking about price a little bit, and you said that on the average it's about $40 a piece for a custom-made outfit. That is not bad.
No, and because you have to take into consideration, you know, it doesn't do any good for me to make this for somebody if they can't afford to, you know, to buy it. And so I try to look out for, you know, everybody's pocketbook.
Well, it's very stylish clothes. We're glad you did it. And if you're interested in finding out more about Deborah's line of clothing, you can stop by at 4 o'clock on Thursdays in the Osprey room and meet her and chat with her about this line. Deborah, thank you for being here today and at Shell Point. You're making a difference with what you do. And I'm Mary Franklin. Make it a great day.
The Woodlands Commons has a new ATM courtesy of Finemark Bank.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Williams, Managing Executive at Finemark Bank at Shell Point. You asked and we listened. We're here to present our newest addition, the ATM at the Woodlands. So not only are you able to get cash out on the island, but now at the Woodlands. So this new ATM that we've installed is free for Finemark clients and $3.50 for non-Finemark clients. This machine works with any debit card, MasterCard, or Visa. Please be sure to check with your bank if you are not a Finemark client regarding additional fees that may apply. This ATM will dispense cash. You can do a balance inquiry. However, it does not accept deposits. Our ATM is also ADA compliant. It has available components for the hearing and vision impaired. FineMark Bank has a limit of $500 per transaction at an ATM. It's best to check with your bank to see what your cash limits might be. We hope that this new ATM at the Woodlands is an easy and efficient way for you to get cash. As always, we want to be responsive to your needs here at Shell Point. If you have any other comments or suggestions for us, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 239-461-5999. With FineMark Bank, I'm Tiffany Williams. Have a great day.
Paul Peterson's stamp collection is featured in this month's issue of Shell Point Life magazine. Before he donated most of his stamps, he showed off some of his favorites.
My father started before I ever knew it. He worked for the post office in Chicago. And they have a dead letter office, and those who wanted to could go down there after a certain period of time when the letter was undeliverable and take what envelopes they wanted and take the stamps, soak the stamps off the envelopes and use them in their stamp collection. And he was one of them. He started in 1932 with a stamp that was issued for the Olympics in Los Angeles. And every issue that came out, he got the ticket, he got the cover with my address on it, 8234 Champlain, Chicago, Illinois. So I collected first day covers from 1932 to year 2000. So first day cover of every stamp the United States issued in that spread. My mother didn't like stamps because the way I soaked the stamps off the envelopes was I was going to take a bath every Saturday night. I'd throw the stamps in the bathtub, and then when they'd peel off, I'd put them on the tile to dry. So she really, and they left a little mark each time. So she really didn't like that. Just the thought of collecting them and enjoying them. And I learned more of history and geography and places to go and places to see from stamps than I learned from all the classes that I ever took on history and geography. Presidents, you know, this kind of thing. And it's a delightful way to learn about them from stamps and the birds, the state birds of each state has a state bird. There's a first day cover that was on the Hindenburg. It's your U.S. stamps, but it was on the first flight of the Hindenburg from Los Angeles to New York. And of course the Hindenburg crashed a few years later. So connections like that. Oh, and this is an interesting card. This is the first postcard ever sent. Please exchange the stockings returned for a size larger. Yours truly, some woman. So she was returning a pair of stockings. I don't know whether this was in the things or she returned a pair of stockings. It was rather interesting to find that postcard. Adolf Hitler. I was very much interested in that era of time, and I got eventually from collecting mostly U.S. stamps, but also German stamps, which showed the rise of Hitler in the stamps they issued. Hitler had a lot of stamps printed with his pictures on it. So this was on his birthday in 1937. They issued that sheet. Then I was also got interested in classical music, and most of the great classical musicians, Bach, Beethoven, Schubert, Brahms, were German or Austrian background. So that I got the two sides to why I'd be interested in not just the stamp, but the person that was on the stamp. Yeah, well, I kept them part of my part of the closet when we were in Chicago, and then I even expanded into the garage when we moved out east with all the books and albums that I had. So, under the bed, everywhere. Yeah. In the house right now, there are over 1 million stamps. The earliest stamp is from when the first stamp came out in the U.S. One was of Franklin and one was of Washington. And I have a mint copy, which means it was uncanceled copy of the one, and a canceled copy of the other. This is the set of the Columbian Exposition issue in 1893, from 1 cent to $5. And depending on the centering of this stamp, it can run anywhere in value from $1,000 to $5,000, this stamp alone. The other issue that I have is the Trans-Mississippi issue in 1898. And this set will probably be $3,000 or $4,000, this set. And that is one of the most famous stamps, the cattle in the west, in the storm in the west. The engraving and the color is much sought after stamp. I go all the way from A to Z in the countries. I have a set, quite a number of sets of things dealing with the British Empire. This is an album that contains British Empire stamps that commemorated the end of World War II. And issued for each part of each country in the British Empire, issued about the same design stamp, and that's what this entire book is filled with, stamps for the victory, so-called Victory and Peace issue. I've got 3 or 4 German albums. Here's Israel, and as you'll notice below the stamp there are perforations, and there's something below it, which describes in Hebrew what the stamp is signifying. There's an island in the Pacific called Tonga, and they issued a set of stamps with gold in the stamp. I've donated 480,000 stamps to Shell Point Stamp Missions Project in the past, and I'm going to donate another 530,000. I think the right thing to do is to save a little bit of a collection. My Swedish album, because I'm Swedish background, I will keep, and part of my U.S. collection, but the rest I'm going to sell and get rid of so I can get the maximum amount of money that I can from the collection. I'm not a gambler, so I just never get tempted to spend my money in Las Vegas. Stamps have kept their value. If there's something you collect, at least you get your money back. If you just use them on envelopes or for postage now, you get your money back from it. And I got a great joy from collecting.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in next week for more stories and news from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.